Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you're at in the world today. We are back at home. We took a little family vacation over to France. I got my camera screwed up. Which camera am I on? Okay. We took a little family vacay over to France last week, and we had a great time. Bonjour, Mrs. Steinman. We went for a family vacation, but we were also going to kind of look for possible properties to buy in France. We spent several days in Paris and then several days down south on the French Riviera, went over to Monaco. It was a trip of a lifetime, and nothing is more motivating to buy a property. Nothing motivates you more than buying a property in France than visiting. We definitely saw ourselves having a property there, being able to go maybe once or twice a year and check on the property, maybe get some income from it. So if you saw our live stream last week, we live streamed from the French Riviera, and we talked about buying properties abroad. It was kind of an intro into a series that I'm going to be doing for the next 4 to 6 weeks on my YouTube channel about how to buy a property abroad. And kind of doing it vicariously through myself and some of my friends. In fact, Jeff Mays bought a property over in Thailand, and he sent us a video we watched last week. So if you want to check that out, it's really cool. It walks through a condo he bought in Thailand. So that's kind of the plan. I think we should probably start off with some housekeeping. I got my cameras backwards today, so I'm looking at the screen capture instead of the Cody capture. But let's take a look. Let's start here. Okay, so last week we talked about lockbox activity was down like 20% in Oregon and Washington. So every time a real estate agent opens a lockbox on a property for sale, that data is collected, and that's what we're looking at here. Now, because it was the 4th of July weekend, lockbox activity, like I said, was down 20% in Oregon and Washington. And I said, look, it's going to bounce back big, and it has. Up 30% from 4th of July week in Oregon and 28% in Washington. And we felt it this week. There's a lot of people writing offers, getting pre-approved. A lot of activity this week compared to that 4th of July week. And I think a lot of it had to do with 4th of July being on a Friday. Our market snapshot, again, all this data is sent over by Gavin Huckins over at Berkshire Hathaway. Again, these numbers were down last week due to the 4th of July, but look at this. New listings in Clark County, Southwest Washington, 273. That's up 50%. Nobody put their house on the market, and a lot of that is because typically listings go live on Thursday or Friday. And 4th of July was on Friday, and so a lot of people chose not to list their homes on that day. Fast forward a week, 50% increase. And I love this number, 273. We put 190 homes in contract last week, which is down 3%. So we listed 83 more homes than came off the market last week. Yes, that's very good. It's very good for home affordability, for pricing, for negotiating. I'm not calling it a buyer's market yet, but it is getting more and more attractive to be able to negotiate, and you have a little more room with prices. We're not seeing this runaway prices. Now, there's been a lot of talks this week about the Fed chair and interest rates, where interest rates going to be 6 months from now. You know, and I kind of like the slow improvement we've had on interest rates because it keeps our home values and prices in check. Listings sold, so homes that were in contract that have closed, 158, that's down 2%. I really like these numbers, guys. Speaking of interest rates, yeah, I totally have my cameras backwards. 6.81% on our 30-year fixed. All the interest rates we use on the My Mortgage Hound YouTube channel come from this website, Mortgage News Daily. It's my go-to website for all things interest rate related. 6.81 for a 30-year fix. That's down. I think we're at 6.89 last week. So a small improvement. Would like to see this number come down more. FHA 6.39. That's been fairly flat. We really want to see this number get to 6% and break through, and maybe even in the high fives. Hopefully by the end of the year. This is what really impacts first-time home buyers, people getting started in home ownership. That difference in 1/4 to 0.5% really impacts your payment. And we'll look at that next week. We'll look at the White House chart here, where you can see we've been tracking an example home since the Saturday before the election. You can see FHA rate 6.62. When they drop down to 6.12 in December, that would save this home buyer $172 a month. And that could be the difference between qualifying and not qualifying. So you can see we've been all over the place, and that savings has been fluctuating up and down $100, $150 a month. But it's starting to stabilize. In June, we were at 6.47, so that was saving us $52 since the election, and we're at 6.39, so really close today. But we'll update July next week. Jumbo loan 6.92, and our VA 6.4%. All right, you guys ready for what we have planned today? Now, normally this is where we would go and look at 3 homes for sale in the Portland, Vancouver metro area. We would make fun of the listing agent. We would read the description, and then we'd run numbers. But today we are going to Paris. Okay, so you guys need to know a few things. I am licensed in Oregon, Washington, Idaho, Montana, Wyoming, Arizona. I am not licensed in Paris, in France. So good morning, Ben. So I'm taking my expertise of mortgage financing and applying it to buying a house in Paris. So I've done a lot of research this week, but know that these are all estimates that we're going to go over, okay? Your experience may be a little different. And what's going to be fun about this series we're going to be doing for the next 4 to 6 weeks is we're going to be looking at different countries. We're going to be looking at, obviously, France. We're going to be looking at Thailand. We're going to look at Portugal. We're going to look at several countries, and the financing, interest rates, taxes. It's amazing how different they are from country to country. Okay, so we're going to start in my wife, Mrs. Steinman, and my favorite part of Paris. And this is in the 17th, which is right next to the 18th, which is kind of where Sacré-Cœur and Montmartre are. And I think it's the most beautiful place in Paris. So I found this property. Top floor Parisian jewel with private terrace. We'll watch the video here in just a second. Perched on the 5th floor of a classic 1870s Haussmann building. This luminous 269 square foot gem delivers rare Parisian luxury. Yes, that's right. I said 269 square feet. Unobstructed Montmartre views, your own 32 square foot rooftop terrace. An absolute tranquility above the leafy. Mrs. Steinman would be able to pronounce this. It's the Arts District. Thoughtfully designed with 8.2 foot ceilings, working fireplace. I would assume that's a wood burning fireplace. Separate dressing area, full bath, and clever storage throughout. Central AC, which is pretty awesome to have in a home that age. Concierge, basement storage, and option to purchase fully furnished. So we'll look at furnishings too. That's a big plus in my book, to be able to buy an apartment in Paris fully furnished. It's really interesting how they move in an apartment in Paris, especially if it's up on the 2nd or 3rd floor. They use these like ramps to lift your couch up into the window. All right, so this is just 650 feet from Parc Monacou's gates in Paris's most prestigious residential quarter. Embassy Row, elegance meets daily convenience. Okay. All right, so this is interesting. Fees of 6% tax, including tax included in the sales price payable by the purchaser, i.e., a price excluding fees of $328. So this has the taxes and fees built into the purchase price, and we're going to look at that in a second. Okay, let's look at some pictures. So love the hardwood floors, but look at this picture here of your terrace. There's a big door that opens. I mean, I could hear the streets from that picture. Now we're only dealing with 290 square feet. There's your little fireplace that's working. There's some creative storage. I bet you that's a Murphy bed. It is. It's a Murphy bed that comes out. Here's your kitchen, dishwasher, washer and dryer. And you do get a full bath. And there's your terrace, picture of the building. So yes, it's $350,000 for 292 square feet, but guys, this is in a very, very cool part of Paris. Let's watch the video. Going down our hallway to our apartment. Probably have a grocery bag with a baguette sticking out of it. Bottle of champagne. Oh, so it is a very small studio, but look at this terrace. Unbelievable. What do you guys think? Could you, I don't know if I could live in 292 square feet, but I could definitely have a vacation home that's this big. Okay, I think we've seen all you can see out of 292 square feet. All right, so we're doing things a little bit different this morning on the mortgage options. Okay. So here we go. $349 is our purchase price. In Paris, in France, typically it's 20 to 25 year terms. So we're pricing out a 25-year mortgage, which would make our loan amount with, I think we did 25% down, makes our loan amount $261,750. Now, interest rates have been shockingly low in France. They've ticked up a little bit this summer, but on the high end, what I saw anything from 2.5 to 3.4. So we're going to use the worst case scenario number at 3.4% for our interest rate, which is shocking when we're used to paying 6 to 7% here. All right. This is a 25 years, so our term's 300 months instead of 360. So if we look at a payment breakdown, that makes our principal and interest $1,296. Now, property taxes. Most of your property taxes are paid up front. You're going to pay somewhere around 3%, and that's included in the purchase price here. I do break it out so we can see what it is, but that's included in the purchase price. For property taxes on the high end, I think you're going to be somewhere around $245 on an apartment like this a month. That includes all the second home tax, non-residence tax. There's so many little taxes that add up. The actual property taxes on a property like this are probably somewhere around $1,000 a month for someone that lives in Paris, but they're going to hammer you on taxes being a foreigner. But still, $245 a month, pretty manageable. Homeowners insurance, very affordable over there, around $35 a month, I think is where you're going to be. So for a total payment of $1,576. Now there is an HOA. I couldn't find out exactly how much the HOA is on this property, but the average is going to be around $250 a month. Now that's not just the HOA, that's your HOA, but I also included costs for a property management company to manage the property and all of your utilities. So I think all in, your garbage tax, your electricity, your property manager, and your HOA, you're going to be somewhere around $250 a month, bringing your total payment to $1,826. On the short-term rental side, it's really hard to kind of gauge, and we're going to be diving into this in great detail over the next 4 to 6 weeks. But I think you could expect on a short-term rental somewhere between $2,000 and $3,000 a month. I kind of saw the average for this neighborhood around $2,500 a month on the conservative side. I saw all the way up to 45, 50 grand a year in short-term rental revenue. But I think conservatively, you could cash flow on this property. Now, that's not taking into account that you are going to pay income tax of 20% on rental income in France, and I'm sure there's others. That's just kind of scratching the surface of what you're going to pay over there. All right, so closing costs. Our down payment's $87,250. Your total fees typically are about 3% from the research I've done over in France. So you're looking at $10,470 in loan fees, appraisal costs, all those little things. And then here's that tax. So the upfront, even though the monthly tax is pretty low, or the annual tax, there's $26,500 baked into that purchase price for taxes, transfer taxes. So somewhere between 100 and 125 grand out of pocket on a home like this. What do you guys think? Let's see, perfect amount of space. Yeah, Mrs. Steinman could live in 2 square feet if it was in Paris. Yeah, it is kind of shocking how affordable it is through our eyes, right? When we're used to the higher payments here, but $1,800 a month. Keep in mind, it's 292 square feet. To get into that 1,200 square foot 2-bedroom, you're easily over $1 million in this neighborhood in Paris. And just wait to the third property, Mrs. Steinman. I found one you're really gonna like. All right. You guys ready for property number 2? Okay, we are in the 11th. 353 square feet, so we're getting bigger. It's on the 3rd floor. We're going to read the description, but I want to show you on a map where this is located. So Notre Dame is on this little island in the Seine. So you are walking distance to Notre Dame. The shopping district is not too far away, so this isn't a very good part of Paris. To give you guys some landmarks, Montmartre, where we just were, is up here. The Eiffel Tower over here. Notre Dame over here. The Louvre somewhere over here. To kind of give you an idea of the layout of Paris. So this is a really good location. So this is a 1-bedroom on the 5th floor, 353 square feet. I'm not going to read this whole description, but there is a separate sleeping area, also known as a bedroom. Lively neighborhood. It's on the 3rd floor, sorry, not the 5th floor. Well-maintained old building with no lift, so no elevator in this building. It includes 1.2 square meters of private storage space on the 4th floor. Open kitchen, modern shower room, also known as a bathroom. The whole apartment overlooks a beautiful tree-lined inner courtyard. The apartment is sold unfurnished. Okay, we have the metro lines all within a 10-minute walk. Lots of shops, pharmacies. Okay, let's look at some pictures. Mrs. Simon says, highly sought after neighborhood. Looks like you have a brasserie on the 1st floor. Oh, there's an invader. So there's this street artist that puts these tile graffiti up all over Paris, and it's really fun if you go to France with kids. You can download an app and you can take pictures and collect these. So as you're going through Paris and other parts of France, you're constantly looking for these invaders. So that's kind of cool. There's one outside this building. So there's our courtyard. All right. I like how this real estate agency puts their watermark right in the middle of the picture. Looks like laminate flooring. We got 2 windows overlooking kind of a faux terrace. Looks like hookups for washer and dryer. There's our bathroom. Shower. No picture of the kitchen. All right, just pictures of Paris. I don't know, guys. The location's awesome, but I kind of like that first one. We're going up in purchase price, $451,000. Let's look at some numbers here. And we'll put these side by side to compare the first and second one. Okay, so $450,000, same deal. 25% down, 25-year loan, $338,000 is our loan amount. That interest rate, 3.4%. If we look at a payment breakdown, $265 is what I'm estimating for property taxes and fees and everything on a monthly basis. Homeowners insurance probably $40 a month. Principal and interest $16.74 for a total payment of $19.79. And again, that $250 for your HOA, property management fee, and all your utilities, somewhere around that $250 mark. So we're looking at $22.29. Now this one did not say that the taxes are included in the purchase price. I'll do some more research to figure out if that's customary or not over there, but you're looking at $31,000 in taxes due at the time you buy this house. And then in loan costs, you're looking at somewhere around $13,500. So for a total out-of-pocket expense of $157,000. I don't know, that first one fully furnished in my mart is looking pretty good. But to give you kind of a comparison, we're $400 more a month and an extra 25 grand, 30 grand out of pocket. How are we doing? You guys liking the Paris episode? It's fun to dream. Okay. This one might be my favorite. Large furnished, that's a key word. I'm liking that word the more I look at these. Large furnished studio, ideal investor. Just a few minutes from La Porte des St. Cloud on the edge of Boulogne. I'm murdering the pronunciation. In a 1970s condominium that's perfectly maintained, secure, and guarded. So 320 square feet. Fitted kitchen, living room with a dressing room, balcony overlooking interior gardens, and a shower room. Okay, look, they put it right here. Good rental yield, €1,000 a month. So that's probably not short term. That's if you were going to rent it long term, $1,000 a month. A seller completes this property. Oh, Mrs. Steinman, you stole my thunder. So when we were there, we did find a horse track. My daughter loves to ride horses, so we decided to go over the horse track, which is in Paris. In fact, here is the horse track with the Eiffel Tower in the background. It was beautiful. But you're very close to Versailles, the Palace of Versailles. This is a really cool part of, you're kind of on the edge of downtown Paris. But yes, this house is very close to the horse track, and a very pretty part of Paris. A little more modern than like Montmartre and over on that side. This one does have an elevator. It's a big bonus. Okay. So this is a studio, 320 square feet, but you do get a balcony, parquet flooring. Fully furnished by IKEA. Nice building. There's your lobby to your building. Okay, here's our fitted kitchen. Pretty nice for the square footage. You have a dishwasher. Decent bathroom with a shower, no tub, that's okay. Here's your balcony. There's your floor plan. Okay. I like this one the most, I think, so far. Okay, we're at 314,000. Same 25-year loan, 25% down, makes our loan amount 235. Same interest rate, 3.4%. Our payment breakdown, 1166 for principal and interest. Property taxes, again, rough estimate, $230,000, or excuse me, $230 a month. Homeowners insurance around $30 a month. Same $250 HOA, property management, utilities, kind of all those bills. $250 a month is my estimate, for a total payment of $1,426 plus the $250. Puts us at $1,676. This is the least expensive one so far. It happens to be my favorite. With the property taxes up front and all the fees, you're looking at $110,000 out of pocket. Okay. That concludes this morning's stream. We're going to end a little early this morning. If you guys have your dream, what's your favorite dream place, country to own property in? Throw it in the chat. We're going to go all over the world in the next few weeks and look at different properties. But we had to start with our love of Paris. So hope you guys have a great Saturday. Like, subscribe, all that fun stuff, and we'll see you back here next week. Daily videos series, daily home of the day series is starting up again tomorrow, or on Monday. So look for that, and we'll see you guys next week. Bye, everybody.